Welcome back to another episode of the Seattle Sports Show where we love Seattle Pro Sports. I'm your host, Mikey, and today we are doing another 7 round Seattle Seahawks mock draft. But again, we are going to do this one a little bit different and do it in this fun concept that I got from Tom Druinskus on YouTube. And said it would be a fun idea to only take Michigan and UW prospects to match the new coaching staff. And you know what? I think that would be fun. So we are going to try a mock out like that. Let's try doing one of these mock drafts where we only take players for our defensive side of the ball, our new head coach coming out of Michigan. Special teams coach coming out of Michigan, and then our offensive coordinator, offensive line coach coming out of Washington. I think that's a fun idea. So let's get into it. Let's do it. Let's, and let's experiment here. Like, let's see how many, UW and Michigan players we would actually be excited to have based on where we would have to draft them in the draft. All right, let's get into it. Let's do it. Let's see what happens here. We are coming in at pick 16. And okay, so I'm not going to trade out because if we're going this way, to me, the best player out of all the Washington players, all the Michigan players, that's going to be available to us because, no way is at this point the way people have been talking about him. No way is JJ McCarthy falling to us at 16. So if we're sticking at 16, then the best player that's going to be available is Troy Fautanu out of Washington. Offensive tackle, but obviously can play either guard position, either tackle position as well. That's how they trained him over there at Washington. And again, yeah, he could step in and be your starting guard right away and be very effective with his size and speed and athleticism. So there you go. That's our first pick off the board, Troy Fautanu. That means our next pick isn't going to come till 81. So that's definitely going to affect what Michigan or Washington players are going to be available at that point. Okay. And the way this one fell for us. See, this is already tough. We got Roman Wilson out of Michigan. We got Jalen McMillan out of Washington, both receivers. We got Blake Corum is available in this area out of Michigan. The running back, Mike Sanders still out of Michigan, available in this area as well. The corner, who I've recently taken in one of these mocks. About out of these, I guess we would like to take one of these receivers. I'm not really interested in the running back at this point. Again, we could be getting a receiver to get ready to replace Tyler Lockett, and then also in the meantime, get somebody in here that is going to replace D. Eskridge or, a Derek Young. If these guys aren't going to be healthy and not be producing, you got to change. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Are we going with Roman Wilson at this spot? 5'10", 185 is what they have him listed at, or are we going with the Jalen McMillan, 6'1", 197? I have watched a lot of tape on Michigan and Washington players in general. They have Roman Wilson ranked higher here, but for my money, again, because of what we've seen on tape, just the differences of the teams and the offenses. Not only did we see JJ McCarthy, we saw a lot more out of Michael Penix throwing the ball, right? Because JJ McCarthy sometimes would throw it less than 10 times a game. But that also means we saw the Washington receivers doing a lot more. And just from my eyes, just I know how much Jalen McMillan can produce on the field versus Roman Wilson, who, when he got his chances, he did. But I just don't know. There's not, for me. I don't know. I don't know if I really see it there for Roman Wilson the same way as Jalen McMillan. So that's who I'm taking here at our pick 81. And then our next pick is until 102. Blake Corum out of Michigan is still available. Again, running back, but that's not really the way I want to go. And to be honest with you, I'm not very high on Blake Corum in the first place. I'm not really high on this draft class of running backs at all, really. So, I mean, at this point, we're at pick 102. I mean, the next Michigan player, I'm having to go all the way down to 147 to see Zach Zinter, and then I'm pretty sure I didn't see any other Washington players in this range here. No, but that's what I'm gonna do. Because in reality, if we want to look a little bit closer to reality, this might be closer to where Zach Zinter actually gets drafted anyways. So we're going to take Zach Zinter here. And then we're coming in at our pick 118. Again, just sticking with everything that we have here. And again, we're having to scroll down a little ways to see where we're going to get our next prospect. Okay, we get Ladarius Henderson, guard. I know there should be some more Washington players like somewhere in this range as well. Zion, Tupela Fatui, edge. I mean, at this point, because we're taking them so much higher, I guess we're not worried about missing out on someone. So, I mean, we can easily, we can easily take Ladarius Henderson here, and then our next pick is going to be, 179. But again, I'm not too afraid of missing out on what else is going to be available. So let's take a look here. Oh, but it looks like somebody actually did take Zion here already. So where did he get drafted? He got picked at 163 to the Bills. Okay. Well, here we are at 179, and now we got to figure out where our next Michigan or Washington player is going to come from. And okay, well, AJ Barner. I would be, again, another guy that would be depth for the tight end room. I'd be happy with that in reality. And now here we are at 192. Okay, here we go. There, I thought I saw another Michigan player around here. Maybe they got picked up already and I didn't notice. Yeah, I'm not. Oh, Cornelius Johnson is there, but we still need linebacker on this team. So at this point, to to fill that need, because we are in the late stages of the draft, and like John Schneider said, that's where they go to fill needs. Let's get Edwafon Vishayo, linebacker out of Washington, and then our pick 235. I bet you it's going to be somebody like a Drake Nugent available in this area, and it is. I'm going to take a look just to see if there's anybody else down here for those teams that would be ranked down in this area. Dylan Johnson, running back, not really interested. We got Fautanu, we got Zinter. So I mean, technically, we have taken care of the guard position, and maybe you heard. Oh, and we got Ladarius Henderson. So we did hear not Zack Snyder, John Schneider saying that they're going to bring some more guards in during the next phase of free agency. What they're considering the next phase of free agency before the draft starts. So by then, the offensive line room, based on what they're probably going to bring in, and then this draft so far, that's going to be pretty filled out. So do we really need to take Drake Nugent? No. So as much as I just said, I'm not really interested in Dylan Johnson. I mean, at this point in the draft, and if we're just sticking with Washington and Michigan players, I think Dylan Johnson makes the most sense here. And he is a bigger back, so I do like that. I like the, I think that'll be good for the style. Obviously, he'll be able to fit into this system and know what's going on and what his role would be in this offense already, since he was just with that coaching staff there. So it actually does make sense at this point if this is the rules that we're giving ourselves in this mock. So here we go. Michigan and Washington player only draft. We got Troy Fautanu at the start. Again, that is actually a pick that I would love in reality. No matter if all players from all schools were available, if we were doing something like that, then Troy Fautanu would be somebody I would still want at that position. And then, getting into that third round, we got to get Jalen McMillan. I think he was the best available. Then we're going Zach Zinter. And then Ladarius Henderson, getting a couple of guards out of Michigan. I thought that offensive line was really good throughout the season. They weren't as good. I don't think that line overall was as good as Washington's offensive line, but they're right up there. So you'd like to get guys from both of these offensive lines, and we did in this draft. AJ Barner, again. I like him as a depth piece and just like a very smart tight end. Edwafon Vishayo, linebacker late in the draft, just filling that need. Was defense the strongest part of Washington's team? No, but you're getting somebody who can, who should be able to contribute and produce here, even if. We're looking at special teams and stuff like that. And Dylan Johnson, again, filling out that running back room. You got depth now. You got a couple of, just look at your running back room. Then now you have a couple of smaller, shifty guys with K9 and McIntosh, and then you got your bigger bruiser guys. A couple of them as well. So if one gets hurt, then the other guy's there in either spot. Either K9 and McIntosh can, be swapped around, or Charbonnet and Johnson can be switched around. So there you go. Again, I think this was a pretty fun concept. I think after this, we're going to get back to doing some ones where I actually go through and do what I might actually do based on the situations. But I think a couple of these ones in a row, just for the fun of it, comparing what the computer does, doing one where we say, "Oops, only Michigan and Washington players." I think I think that's a fun little break in the action here, and let me know what you thought of this one. Like if the Seahawks wouldn't actually do this, but how much of these players would you actually want in the draft, and where we got them? How many of them would you not mind getting in that position? Again, because we were doing this, there are a few players that we kind of had to reach on, but I think most of them, it wasn't that much of a reach. So if they did get those players in those positions, what would you think about it? Like, obviously Fautanu, he's going to be right in that range. Jalen McMillan, he's going to be in that range. Zach Zinter will probably end up in that range. Dylan Johnson and Olaf Scheidler are probably going to be somewhere in that range where we actually drafted him. So, yeah, even if you pretended that just only look at those singular picks, how happy would you be with like that pick with that player at that position? Let me know in the comments. All right. That was fun. Go ahead and leave those comments. Keep subscribing. My goodness, you guys have been hitting that subscribe button, and now we're over 150 subscribers. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for that. And then if you're listening on the podcast version, please hit the follow button, the subscribe button, and leave a 5-star rating and a written review, because that all helps the show out so much. And thanks for listening to the Seattle Sports Show, where we watch legends awaken. So take cover, because with a sea of sound, you will see us rise to reign supreme and win forever.